You may have never considered this. What is eroding your health and clarity is not something out there, but something hidden deep within your own body, waiting to be revealed through an ancient practice that modern science has accidentally forgotten. I am Ethan Marshall, a health specialist and physician, now 60 years old. And if there is one thing that has troubled me for decades, it is this. Most of the suffering people endure does not come from age or fate, but from what they do not understand about their own bodies. When I say, what exhausts you the most is not life itself, but what lies within your own body, many people freeze at first, even disagree, yet they return months later, wide-eyed, admitting that the truth can be more shocking than what they imagined. If you want to continue exploring deep, grounded health knowledge that modern medicine often overlooks, subscribe to the channel, hit like, and share, so I can keep bringing you valuable content. Today, I want to begin where very few dare to venture, the origin of the concept of inner baptism. Many know baptism as a sacred religious ritual, but few realize that in the earliest teachings of Jesus, baptism was not meant only for the soul. He spoke of another form of purification, more practical, more intimate, and far more controversial: cleansing the body. To him, the human body was not just a shell. It was a temple containing vitality, intuition, spirit, and one's inner light. But like any temple, it can be dimmed, covered in dust, and lose its sacredness if left neglected. I have witnessed countless patients arrive in a state of exhaustion they could not explain. Their tests looked normal, no alarming diagnoses, yet they felt heavy, clouded in thought, and emotionally drained. And this always reminds me of the Essene teachings, which emphasize that cleansing the body was the first step to receiving the light of nature. They saw water, air, and light not just as physical elements, but as living forces capable of restoring human vitality, as long as the body was clean enough to receive them. Interestingly, their view aligns with modern natural health practitioners. Whether you read Norman Walker, Bernard Jensen, or pioneers of cellular nutrition, they echo the same idea. True health cannot exist when the intestines and inner body remain burdened with waste. Jesus did not come to speak of mystical abstractions. He came to remind humanity of a simplicity it had forgotten. When he spoke of purity of body, mind, and spirit, he treated them as inseparable. A burdened body drags the mind down. A clouded mind blocks the spirit from accessing deeper strength. Thus, inner baptism is the act of returning the body to its original clarity, so that intelligence and spirit can rise again. And now, I want to ask you a reflective question. What prevents people from receiving the deepest healing? A. Because they do not recognize the body as a temple that needs care. B. Because they know but have never truly cared. Do you choose A or B? Leave a comment so I know where you are on this journey. In the Gospel of Peace, the practical guidance for internal cleansing is presented as a specific, actionable instruction. Using a long gourd-like vessel to hold and introduce warm water into the intestines to wash away accumulated impurities. This is not treated as a religious metaphor, but as a procedural recommendation aimed at removing what the text calls Satan, meaning physical waste, toxins, and biological debris lodged within the intestines. Operationally, warm water serves two functions. Its gentle temperature softens mucus and hardened residue, adhering to the intestinal walls, making it easier for the water flow to dislodge them. At the same time, the warmth supports peristalsis and makes the experience less shocking compared to harsher methods. The use of a gourd-shaped device reflects the practicality of the method, simple, accessible, and repeatable, turning purification into a regular practice rather than a one-time ritual. Symbolically, the cleansing action is described as a way to open the path for life force to move within the body. Once pollutants are removed, biological exchange and signaling processes operate more smoothly, enabling greater clarity of consciousness. The text emphasizes that the purpose is not punishment of the body or an empty ritual, but restoring the material conditions necessary for spiritual life and awareness to manifest fully. Essene writings place intestinal cleansing within a broader system of living in harmony with natural forces. Water as the cleansing agent, air as the purifier, light as the renewer. Thus, colon cleansing is framed within a natural cycle of restoration. Ethically and psychologically, the guidance encourages humility and self-care. Actively purifying oneself is seen as a gesture of responsibility toward one's own body, not for show, but to maintain the sacred dimension without falling into superstition. Finally, the text analyzes safety and continuity. Cleansing should be done with care, warm water, proper tools, and knowledge of one's constitution to avoid misuse or disruption of microbiota. When done correctly, it functions both as a hygienic intervention and as a bridge between physical care and spiritual nourishment. The colon plays a central and decisive role in overall health and is described in medical literature as the body's biological drainage system. When its function deteriorates or becomes obstructed, consequences extend beyond digestion to the liver, kidneys, nervous system, immune system, and even connective tissues. Physiologically, retained stool and waste in the colon undergo microbial fermentation and decay, producing harmful metabolites, gases, organic acids, and protein breakdown derivatives, which can penetrate a compromised intestinal lining, enter the bloodstream, and create a state of auto-intoxication, as Bernard Jensen identified as a fundamental disruptor of interstitial and tissue function. Clinically, this manifests as slow transit and chronic constipation, colitis, ulceration, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticular disease, prolapse, and in more advanced cases, acute infection or colon cancer. Extended dysfunction alters gut-brain neural reflexes, affecting emotional states and cognition through neurological and biochemical pathways. The impact on other organs is concrete. The liver and gallbladder are overburdened. The lymphatic system becomes congested, and connective tissues absorb degrading byproducts leading to chronic inflammation. Causal analysis highlights industrial diets, processed foods, low fiber, high refined content as primary triggers disrupting healthy colon rhythms compounded by sedentary lifestyle patterns. Historical and clinical cases underscore the seriousness of neglecting colon health, showing life-threatening or debilitating outcomes developing from long-standing dysfunction. Symptoms often remain subtle. Colon impairment may exist even when bowel movements appear regular, since quality and mucosal function are key. Therefore, colon care requires not only symptomatic treatment, but comprehensive evaluation of diet, elimination habits, microbiome status, and strategies aimed at restoring the body's natural detoxification pathways. Only then can interconnected biological systems recover and support genuine, holistic health. In Arnold Ehret's framework, the colon's dysfunction is not limited to mechanical blockage, but reflects a systemic form of constipation extending into tissues, interstitial fluids, and even cellular structures. Modern individuals accumulate excessive mucus and metabolic residue due to prolonged dietary imbalances. When mucus layers and deposits coat tissues and biological channels, the transport of nutrients, oxygen, and biochemical signals becomes impaired, producing stagnation across multiple physiological levels. Ehret argues that genuine restoration requires addressing this foundational cause rather than treating symptoms superficially. Fasting becomes an essential tool to halt incoming burdens so the body can mobilize its inherent repair mechanisms. When freed from processing new food, the body prioritizes eliminating accumulated waste from tissues. Fasting is not merely caloric restriction, but a unique biological environment that activates autophagy and cellular regulatory pathways, breaking down damaged structures. Ehret stresses that fasting and colon cleansing complement one another. Fasting without supporting elimination through the colon risks reabsorption of toxins released from tissues. Thus, combining both creates a deliberate channel for waste removal, easing strain on the liver, kidneys, and lymphatic system. The body then enters an orderly restoration cycle, gradually dissolving long-standing adhesions in the colon and connective tissues. Another principle in Ehret's system is the mucus-free diet, emphasizing leafy greens, fruits, and water-rich natural foods to minimize new residue and mucus formation. These foods contain natural enzymes and gentle fiber structures that help cleanse mucosal surfaces without irritation. Observations show that alternating fasting, cleansing, and mucus-free eating significantly accelerates recovery. Energy increases, physiological reflexes regulate, and chronic inflammation subsides. This forms a model of healthcare grounded not in aggressive intervention, but in reactivating the body's self-regulating capacity, paving the way for organic restoration and homeostatic balance. Within a holistic framework of human well-being, bodily purification, especially through the colon, is understood as a practice that not only fulfills physiological needs, but also enables spiritual processes to unfold fully. When waste and toxins are removed, the body enters a lighter state, and this renewal permeates emotional and cognitive structures. The clarity often reported after cleansing reflects not only biological improvement, but also enhanced circulation, reduced nervous system burden, and restored organ rhythms. In ancient texts, this state is described as the opening through which the light of life enters, implying that the human spirit functions best when physical obstructions no longer impede it. Modern biomedical and nutritional interpretations align with this view. Accumulated toxins foster chronic inflammation and impair mental focus, whereas internal cleanliness supports calmness, stability, and emotional regulation. Purification also reinforces a renewed sense of responsibility toward one's health. The body is no longer perceived as a machine, but as a living space requiring intentional care. Within this context, purification becomes an inward ritual, a personal commitment to cultivating an environment suitable for spiritual growth. Discipline, attentiveness, and respect for the body during cleansing practices contribute to mental steadiness, enabling deeper engagement with inner life. Natural health systems emphasize that when the body is clean, self-regulatory mechanisms operate more effectively, providing a stable physiological foundation for spiritual composure. This allows transformation to arise organically, not through force but through natural opening. The essence of inner baptism thus extends beyond physical cleansing into restoring harmony among body, mind, and spirit. When one recognizes that clarity cannot coexist with a burdened body, and peace cannot reside in a disordered internal environment, the fundamental importance of colon care becomes evident. In its deepest sense, purification becomes a means of returning to one's original state, where health, wisdom, and serenity are not pursued, but naturally present once material obstructions are removed. Cleansing the body, particularly through the colon, is presented as a process both physiological and profoundly spiritual. When the body is freed from stagnation, life force flows more smoothly, mental clarity rises, and emotional balance strengthens. Practices such as colon cleansing, dietary adjustment, and appropriate fasting operate as interconnected elements within a comprehensive restoration system, helping the body recover self-regulating abilities and access deeper spiritual levels. The harmony of a clean body, clear mind, and calm spirit forms the foundation for a stable and enduring state of well-being. The essential insight is that health does not arise merely from treating symptoms, but from cultivating a clean, supportive inner environment. Practical application begins with simple actions: choosing natural foods, maintaining regular detox practices, listening to the body's signals, and allowing moments of stillness each day to nourish the body-mind connection. Which factor do you believe more strongly influences inner peace? The cleanliness of the body or the stillness of the mind? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you would like to receive an in-depth ebook on health and the healing journey, fill out the form in the description. And remember to subscribe, like, and share the video to help spread meaningful and sustainable knowledge to the community.